All right, femur, O's and I's. We're gonna go ahead and start with the eyes. So, number one here, we have the gluteus medius on the posterior portion of the greater trochanter. On the anterior portion of the greater trochanter, we have the gluteus minimus. On the superior portion of the greater trochanter, we have the insertion for piriformis. Coming posteriorly to it and a little inferior, we have the quadratus femoris there. And then on this lesser trochanter here, we have the insertion for psoas major and iliacus. Come down here, we're going to work our way lateral to medial here. We have gluteus maximus. These are all linea aspera origins on that line there on the backside. So we have gluteus maximus, that's on the proximal end. 5 here runs along the entire thing, and then it also inserts down here on the supracondylar ridge on the medial side. We have adductor magnus, and then right next to that we have adductor brevis, which does not run as long. It's a shorter muscle, so insert shorter there. And then 11 we have adductor longus, which runs the length of that linea aspera too. And then number 9 we have the insertion for pectineus right there as well. And then if we go ahead and come up to here, inside between the trochanters and our intertrochanter groove, we have the go-go muscles. So glomerulis inferior and superior, and obturator externus and internus are right in there. That's all the insertions of the femur. So let's go ahead and go to origins here. On this anterior shaft here, we have the origin for vastus intermedius. And then on the posterior medial shaft here, next to that linea aspera as well, we have the, I should flip it towards you. We have the origin for vastus medialis. Go to the lateral side there, that linea aspera, running the length of there. We have the origin for vastus lateralis. Coming right there in that linea aspera, on the distal half of it, we have the origin for the short head of the bicep femoris there. That is all of them on the shaft there. So let's come down here to the distal end here. Superior on the posterior side still. We are superior to the condyle, the medial condyle right now, and we have the medial origin of the gastrocnemius. And then if we come over here, superior to the lateral condyle, we have plantaris. And then if we come over to like the lateral superior portion of the lateral condyle, that guy, that's our lateral head of the gastrocnemius. And then inferior to that, we have our origin for the popliteus muscle. And that is all of the O's and I's for the femur. Thank you. We're gonna do O's and I's of the hip bone here. So we have a right pelvis here. Let's go ahead and go through it here. We have glute max here at the top. That is posterior to the posterior gluteal line. Then we have glute medius, which is between the posterior gluteal line and the anterior gluteal line. And then we have glute minimus, which is in between the inferior gluteal line and the anterior gluteal line. Above that, on the anterior superior iliac spine, we have the TFL. Just below that, also on that ASIS, we have sartorius. Then we go to the inferior anterior iliac spine, and we have the first origin of the rectus femoris. Then the second is right here above the acetabulum. Then if we come down here to the superior pubic ramus, we have pectineus's origin. Come down, let's go ahead and go back over here. Let's go to the inferior posterior iliac spine. We have the origin for piriformis. Let's go ahead and flip to the back here. In the iliac fossa, we have iliacus. This is a little bonus credit here, but we have the auricular surface there that has the origin for erector spinae on it. And then on the ischial body here, we have the origin for obturator internus. And then if we come around, that's pectineus right there, like we said. In the obturator foramen, we have the obturator externus. And then to come over here, we have on the ischial spine here, sorry, I had it turned the wrong way. We have the superior glomerulus, or glomerulus superior, and then on just inferior to that, on the ischial tuberosity really, we have glomerulus inferior. Then we come to the ischial tuberosity here, and we have the origin for the long head of the bicep femoris and also the semitendinosus hamstring muscle. And then we have the semitendinosus with the long head is here, and the semimembranosus is here as well. I don't know if I said that wrong at first, but on the lateral side of that ischial tuberosity, we have the origin for quadratus femoris there as well. And then here on the inferior pubic ramus, we have the origin for adductor magnus, and then we have adductor longus there on the pubic body, and then we have adductor brevis there also on the pubic body. And then most inferior, we have gracilis, because the grizzly is always on the ground. And then I believe that is everything for the hip. All right, we're gonna go through the tibia origins and insertions here. So here we go, starting with insertions. Number 11 here, this is on the medial condyle. We have the semimembranosus hamstring muscle. Below that, we have the vastus medialis, and that kind of inserts into the quadriceps tendon that attaches here on the tibial tuberosity. And that has all your quad muscles. And this is the patellar ligament, because it's bone to bone, that inserts there with those muscles. Let's drop down here. We have the pes anserine region. We have 3 muscles here, the sartorius, the gracilis, and the semitendinosus, all right there. And then on the posterior side here, superior to the soleus line, we have popliteus right there, the insertion for that. And then finally on this lateral side here, on the lateral condyle, or tubercle, Gerdy's tubercle, we have the iliotibial tract right there. So let's go ahead and go to origins here as well. Number 7 here, we have the fibularis longus origin. Number 6, we have the extensor digitorum longus ligament. That's both on that same lateral tubercle there. Origins here. On this anterior lateral side, we have the anterior tibialis, or tibialis anterior would be a better way to say it. Come back here on that same area, really the proximal 3/4 of the posterior tibia here, we have the tibialis posterior. And then on the soleus line, we have the origin for the soleus. And then inferior to that, on the posterior medial shaft, we have, sorry, I'm flipping this all over the place. Posterior medial shaft, we have the origin for flexor digitorum longus. And that is all of the O's and I's of the tibia.